FishEZ. I'm going to get my microphone going here. It's been a few weeks. Things have been happening. Not always able to get things going in the right way, but we're going to go ahead and get things. Bad. Okay, that almost dropped into a tank. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us here at a Friday night FishEZ event. This is a update onto what's been happening here in Aquarium Biz, FishEZ. We've got some exciting news. Well, not so exciting, but it's relative, I guess, in how you look at it. We've been spending each weekend working hard at selling fish, selling items, selling axolotls. And so we went to the Reptile Expo on March 30th. And then after that, we went to a auction for the Peel Regional Aquarium Club, which took place here in the area. And that was very close to our fish house, only 5 minutes away, basically. And so that was very convenient. And we made a good amount. We were the largest seller at the auction. What did we sell? Well, we sold Plecostomus, and we sold barbs, and we sold just about everything we have, a few of something and something of everything. And then that made a long list. In fact, I believe our lot list turned out to be close to 70 or 80 items, 78 items, something like that. I'm going by memory, bad memory, but that's the way it is. So that was it. And we had also some, there's an auction this Sunday, so it's been a very busy few weeks, and we've been just going frantic from one thing to the next. And this Sunday there will be another auction, and it looks like it's going to be a ways away, but we might try attending that one and throwing a few things on the table. So how are we doing? Well, behind me you can see the fish are still alive, still doing fine. We do have some interesting, we have a new batch of, let's see if I can show them, new batch of, these are dwarf cichlids, also known as apistogrammas. We have the Inca 50s. Let me change the picture. And let's see, Mama's out in the front. See if we can get a shot of the babies. There they are. These came out this week, just a few days ago. These are Inca 50s or Bienchi. Inca 50 is what they used to be called. They are Apistogramma Bienchis. And it's a good size lot. Now the male, he's a nice looking male, and I'm going to pull him out, and we're going to get set up. I've got this all ready to go. This is a filter, and we're going to put it in this tank right here next to it. Put the male over and get him going with this female who's been very, very isolated, very melancholy, waiting for some boy to come along. And she's been in here for a good week or two. And I think it's time to get her boy going. So once I put him in there, they'll go to town. I'm sure she's ready. That's the thing. It's all about conditioning. And conditioning is the important thing. If you can get the fish conditioned. And I do have another female over here. We had more females than males. There's the female. The other one. One of these females is going to be the lucky partner. And the male, he's kind of hiding away because the female's up at the front. So she keeps the male away when the babies are out. I want to know where he is. I can just watch her, and she's got her eyeball on him. She's coming over there. Look at that. She's gorgeous. One thing about this particular species is the Bienchi species. I will tell you this. They're colorful, and I love the bars. Most of the pistogrammas that we have here in the fish room are such that, like Panduros, the females are very yellow. They have some black splotching, but none of the bars like you see there. And that's what I really like about them. The bars are tremendous. As you can see, I like in my tanks a lot of plants, and we put in a few leaves, and we see that this setup is ideal, and it prevents. Oh, and yeah, by the way, here's another batch of young apistogrammas that have come out I forgot about these. These are trifasciata, another new batch since the last time we did a live stream. There's the boy in the back. I don't know if I can focus on him or not. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. He's beautifully striated blue. Look at that color. Something about when they show their fins off like that. No, it just doesn't want to focus in the dark. It's not bright enough back there. There we go. That might be a little better. So as you can see, and we don't have enough people joining us tonight. If you're going to hit the thumbs up, it would be helpful. Maybe it'll stir some people to come over and just take a look at these tremendous fish. I am going to try to breed this dwarf ram, electric blue ram. Hi, go with the flow. Welcome. And here's a pair of trifasciatus that have babies that are a few weeks old. These are from March 20th. And so they're a couple weeks old. They're doing very well. The male and female is out. You can see the male, what I was talking about. He's got a tremendous look to him. He's got this mohawk kind of look. And the blue is really, now you can't see the colors as good as well as I can just because of the glare, the glass, but he's turning. Let's see if we can get a better shot of him. There's something about these fish. They are tremendous when it comes to personality. Look at him. He's kind of giving the signal, waving the arms. Female does the same thing. She clicks a couple times. That tells the fry to watch out. It's their warning signals. So they see this camera and they're thinking, what is that? What is that? So the female's on the left. That's the gold, the yellow. And these are trifasciata. They have 3 bars, 3 stripes, basically. And that's what you see there. So they're on baby brine shrimp. Pretty much they get that all the time. Tonight we're going to do some extraction. These are panduros. This is what I meant by the blotch. And she's starting to chase. You see how she's chasing these fry? And these fry are way too big. It's time to get them out. I had another tank right next to them. This was a pair of triple reds. And there's the female. She's quite a producer. And just so you know, 2 days ago, I was able to pull all the fry out of this tank and put the male back in. I had him out for good reason. She's a little feisty when it comes to the male, but she needs him. She needs him to spawn, and that's what happened. But would you believe it? I pulled out 97 fry from their last batch, and it was a little surprising. You know, you thought, well, maybe it's from 2 batches or something. No, it was 1 batch, because as soon as she had the fry, she was tearing the male apart, so I pulled the male, so there was no spawning activity after the initial. So that I know for sure. It was all 1 spawn. 97. Tremendous female. She's pretty fish, but the male, he is also stupendous. Hi, Roman. Hi, Roman. It's good to see you tonight, and Small Time Tanks also. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be pushing for the 3,000 membership, and it would be nice if we can get those, not membership, subscribers. It'd be nice if we can get a few more subscribers very soon and bump those numbers up. Now, here is interesting. This particular tank, I put the male in a timeout box. This is what the male looks like in the triple reds. The female we just looked at, she had 97 fry, and here's what the male looks like, although this is a different male, but they look almost identical. But she's disappeared in the cave, and she's going through the cycle. When I know she has wigglers, it's usually evident by the fact that she goes inside the cave and doesn't come out. So you won't even see her for a while. I don't know why that is. Whereas sometimes when she has eggs, she goes in and out. So she kind of leaves the eggs unattended at times. But once I think they hatch, she doesn't leave them at all. And then that 3 or 4 days will go by. But then once they go free swimming, she brings them out. So that's when she comes out again. But I've been waiting for her to make her appearance. Last time this pair spawned, they only produced 15. The extraction was at 15, actually. So, so you got the timeout box too, huh? Well, sometimes it's a timeout for him, and sometimes it's a timeout to protect him, because the females can be very aggressive. But you can see the long flowing fins of these fish. Just tremendous. Yeah, these triple reds, these are the nice looking Agassizi. They're a nice looking fish. Over here, this is a Inca 50 also. We were looking at the Inca 50s a moment ago, but she is in the cave. She pokes her head out the hole. I see her sometimes. And the male, he's really hiding out. He hides out in the leaves. I hardly ever see him, but I don't know if he's hiding from her or what exactly. It's a little unclear, but if I think she's got eggs or have any proof of it, maybe the moment the fry come out, I'll take this boy and just move him over to the female that's waiting for a mate, and then let him do his thing while she raises these fry. Sometimes that's the best way. So here we go. That was another quick tour of what's really been going on around here. While I'm up here, Trifasciata, their babies, it's almost time to pull them out. This pair of triple reds, beautiful male, female, very nice pair. They don't treat each other very aggressively. They're always together. I don't have any issues with this pair leaving them in there. The glare is pretty bad. Let me see if I can change the angle. But they did have another spawn on April 1st. And this was the runner-up. This we pulled 80 fry from the last batch. First batch 45, now 80. And now she's come out with another batch on 4-1. I don't know if she's going to be able to topple her 80, but you can see the fry in there. That's them there, swimming around. It doesn't look like 80, because I remember when they were 80, they were just a huge number. Then there's two Inca pairs, Inca 50 pistogrammas here. The male is in the front. We finally get a look at a male. The Bienchis are similar in look to the Panduros, but different. The rays on the dorsal fin they give it the ram look, if you want to call it that. I don't know. He's backing up, isn't he? He's kind of high. He's camera shy, very camera shy. But there is a spawn in here. These fry have always been a little bit on the hiding side. It looks like we got a little problem in here. This was happening before. This is what happens. You have to be on the lookout. I see there's some dead ones up in the corner floating, and I just noticed it right now. So what I will do is clean them out. Looks like they're starting to get attacked. I need to do a full treatment on a regular basis. I use this. It always stops the deaths. It's called microblift, and this microblift is it's basically malachite green with formalin in it, and when I see a fries that there's no reason for them to die, then I know there's something up. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just remove all the ones I can find that might have passed away, and then I'm just going to treat the tank for 3 days straight. And usually that stops it, and they should be okay. The boy looked pretty good. I don't think there's a problem. Yeah, we're going to have to give this a microblift treatment. Over here, this female, this pair here, she has fry in there somewhere, I know. Oh, there's one right in front of me, right there. You see how big they are now? Yeah, they need to be pulled out too, because I think 320, these are from 320. So March 20th would be, this is about 3 weeks. These are 3 weeks old. So anytime, these can be pulled anytime. 3 to 4 weeks is best. Oh, that's interesting. Now I see something I didn't notice before. I'm looking at the size of these fry in this tank, and they were born 320, and then this fry, the ones with the issues, 314. These are older, and yet they're smaller, much smaller. So whatever has been affecting them has been affecting them in a profound way. So we're going to have to get this tank a little cleaned up, maybe treated, and we'll see if things don't go bouncing back. Maybe it might even be a good idea to pull the fry out, put them in a different tank altogether, and then resetting it. So to reset a tank, basically we're going to just remove everything, all the leaves and everything, change the water, change the peat, and give it a major water change, and then that will be like a cleanup, and the pair will go right back down on eggs. Look at her over here. She's doing so well guarding those babies. They're kind of like, she's now trying to herd cats. You know, they're just like all over the place, and she can't really keep them together. There's some characteristics, differences between the way the fry behaves. Just to give you an idea, on the Trifasciata, I've noticed this, that the fry always hang out on the glass. They love to hang out on the glass, and you can see them right up there along the glass. Ooh, that one even has a blue on it. Look at that little one with the blue. It's obviously going to be a male. Already? How old are these? 317. These are about the same age as the Incas we were looking at. But, yeah, this size. Now, I took out the male, I think. Was it this one? Yeah. Yeah, I took out the male. This female is in here by herself. So I'm not worried about her getting ideas of going back on eggs, or if she sees the male, you know, even the male might want to spawn again. This female has spawned twice with fry in the tank, a second time with fry in the tank before, and that was disastrous. So you can see she had 49 fry in the tank, and then she went and spawned it again before they were even removed. And then the 7 is all I could save out of the small ones, because with so many hungry mouths, it's no wonder that the second batch doesn't make it. Now they had, after I extracted the fry, 317, she laid again, and that's what you see here. These things breed like rabbits. Yes, this is Pistogramma trifasciata. Oh, look at this. The babies are moving now. After they've been sitting there for a few minutes, they get used to me or the threat. You'll notice all of a sudden they'll start moving, and then you see them. They're all over the place. This is a nice large spawn. I don't know if it's 80, but see if she catches up to a good number. She's a good producer. And that's AG3. Yeah, AG3. So Agassiz 3, doing very well. So what else is going on in the fish room? Not a whole lot. We like I said, we sold at the auction, and so you'll notice missing from this tank is now there are no rummy nose. They were taken to the auction. What else? There's no penguins are gone. The ones I raised, it's all sold. Yep. Good little batch of penguins in an auction. People picked them up at a great price. And I was able to get a good price too. Because, you know, it's like better than wholesale. Because fish like that, you don't get much. Wholesale, they can buy them so cheap. So that's very interesting. Next, I think it's next week, right? Yeah. So 16th, I think, the Wednesday. This coming Wednesday is going to be a Peel Regional Aquarium Club field trip. We're going to go over to a local aquarium club called Fanatics, and that's going to be kind of fun. We're going to be walking through. We're going to get a tour. We're going to get a special sale price if we're interested in buying anything. And all the club members can show up between 7 and 9 p.m. and it will be a special deal for us. So that will be interesting. Maybe I'll take a video or something at the time. That might be worth it to show off the place. Yeah, maybe I'll get permission to do that. I'll get permission, see if they'll let us do that. And yeah, so that's what's going on in the fish room. As you can see, the rams didn't do so well, the black rams. I was just kind of waiting for these pairs. The middle pair actually died off. Don't know what happened. They just got sick and died. This pair over here had a huge batch, and they went free swimming, and then they just died off after that, despite the fact that there was plenty of live food in the tank. And don't know exactly what caused it. It could be the parents, and I'm beginning to suspect that because, well, first, you think, well, they would have eaten the wigglers or, treated them poorly. But I think they're a young pair. They don't look so well. They look like they might be getting sick too. I'm going to give them a treatment just to see if that doesn't boost them. I do have some antibiotics that I'm going to try on this pair just to see if what it is before I just let them die. The pair in the middle, I replaced with a pair of rams. That is a pair of crossed rams. They got electric blue and blue, German blue cross. We call those strawberries because they have a very interesting pattern, and the blue dots make it very scintillating look. Very nice looking fish. They grow very fast, and they are, anyway, it was a pair I took from the group because they were already in the corner trying to breed. So I put them in this tank. We'll see what they do. Right now, maybe next time we have a live stream, you'll be able to see them. I'm sure they'll be around. But yeah, let's see what else. Any questions tonight? Looks like everybody's joining. A couple people have been. And my Fish Tanks Aquatics and Coral Works. Hello. Thank you very much for that. Joining us tonight. What shall we say? I wanted to that picture. I don't know if you were able to see it on the thumbnail. That was one of the fish I took to the auction. It was just a simple super red pleco, but under just the right lighting, if you adjust the coloration of the lighting, those super red plecos glow, and they're not glowfish. They're not showing that kind of behavior. It's not a gene or anything. It's just a brilliant orange color. And I have one right here just chomping away. Let's see if we can take a look here. See here? Now that fish, if the lighting was a little bit on the green side, it would just start to turn red. That's an escapee, by the way. That one got out of the breeder box. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to show you the breeder boxes. They're hanging on the side here. And here you have it. Super reds. They're just growing nicely. No problems. And then over here, another batch of super reds from the same pair at a later date, about a month later. There are a few albinos in here. I have 5 long-finned albinos that I pulled back from an older batch that they don't do well when they're in large groups. The albinos tend to be out-competed by the normals. And so I find that if you pull them back, put them by themselves, or like in this case, they're with younger fish, they get a real chance to grow and do well. And since doing this, putting them in this breeder box, these young adults are now, well, these are still juveniles, but they're doing very well and haven't lost a one. That's a beautiful albino longfin. Yeah. Now we were talking about sometimes they get into this tank. I don't know, they crawl over, or there's some spill over the spillway or something. So in the rocks and so forth, I'll usually one day just suddenly see super reds, in this case, start to appear in here. I can pull them out if I want to, or I don't have to. But this was the most interesting shocker. This tank in the back has the Luminatus babies, and I need to, it would be nice if I could do it tonight. I need to get back there and pull out the biggest ones, because as I put the mops in here, I think the small ones are going to start to get eaten by these ones that are growing up bigger, because they're getting to maturity. These things start breeding at a very young age. But you know, I am looking in this tank, and I'm telling you, I went into shock one day when I looked and I looked and I saw suddenly there was, I don't know if you can see him. All of a sudden, this tank has an apistogramma in it. There's a young apistogramma, and I don't know how it got in there. Because there's no apistogrammas hanging on this tank, you know. So somehow, and I must have just set the breeder box with apistogrammas for maybe an overnight thing. I don't know, and it jumped out into the tank. I don't know, but this happens. It's happened more than once to me. How it is happens, you just suddenly look in this case, that old mop that's been sitting there in the bottom, and I don't know what happens, but suddenly then now I got an apistogramma and I have to get it out, because it's just a small baby right now, but you know, it's probably 3/8 of an inch long. I'm not seeing it right now. It kind of hides, but it's, you know, those are predator fish. You know, pistogrammas love to eat whatever they can catch and chase, or what shall we say, hunt down. And so that's what's going to happen. It's going to hunt, and yeah, I don't know. Things like that happen. You just find, and you know it's a mistake somehow. I haven't looked at these fish lately. Let me see if I can reach the camera up there. There they go. They hang in the bottom, and it's above my eye level, so I have to get this stool and the steps to go look at this tank. And so it's easier to look through the camera, actually. What you're looking at are hogsloi. Hogsloi. Pistogramma hogsloi, red gold morph. Beautiful fish. And there's only a few in here. It came from a small batch. And I do have some bigger ones. Let's go take a look at those. I do have about, I wonder how many. In a tank down here, we're growing out some pistogrammas. We always pull back a few from the batches. In this is a 15-gallon tank, and all I have in here are some apistos. There's two kinds. There's Agassizii, and I pulled these out to just hold back for breeders if I needed breeders. And then there's also the hogsloi, the biggest ones we have. There's a hogsloi. No color yet, really, on these. There's one down there. You can tell the difference between them very easily. Well, of course, these These triple reds are got quite a bit of good color. And look at that male. He's got a fiery flame for a tail. And that hogsloi next to it is there we go. Get a little in focus a little bit. That fish is going to be maybe in a group. This group is going to be used to pick future breeders from. So we don't like to put all of our eggs in one basket. So one half of that batch were taken to the other grow out place, and then this half of the batch, which I have here, kept here, just separate places. It's insurance, and it's very much required. Something goes wrong, and that's it. While I'm down here on my knees, I'm just going to turn and show you the 519s. These are the ones that we were watching one day, and then all of a sudden we realized it was a spawn. And these babies have come out and are growing, and then the second spawn, and who knows, maybe I got a third spawn. Why not? Let's just go fishing. Let's go take a look. Maybe we can, right there in that cave. That's the cave where they are. Now, I don't know if there's any eggs in that cave. Last time I checked, there were not. But I don't check every day. It doesn't make sense to check every day. It's not going to hurry up anything by checking. Let's see. Oh, nothing. Dad's not even in the cave. Okay. Wonder where Dad is. But anyway, you can see these babies. Oh, I see. He's in that cave. He's changed caves. Now, this is a ancestral species. These are not bushy nose. These are what we call, look at that, honeycomb. They got a honeycomb pattern to them. Is that Dad? There's babies all over the place. There's probably about 40, at least 40 fry running around in here. And I keep dumping lots of food in here. And they seem to be doing great. And they do eat, love the zucchini. And then I give them powdered food also for the protein and other minerals and goodies. And they are thriving. Now this is a high demand pleco. And it looks like a female over, I don't know if you can see under the base. Can you see the base of that filter? Look at the reflection in the glass. You can see her better. Yeah. There's the female. There's two females and one male in here, a trio. So I don't know if these two batches came from the same female or not. Oh, he does have bristles. They're a little more skittish than regular ancestors. But they're obviously going for the smaller caves. Or that one that I showed you, the clay pot colored one. On the tips of his tail, I don't know if you can see that. On the tips of his tail, you see the little, they look like highlighting. Gold. It's like gold tips. See it? It's very, with the real eye, the flashlight doesn't really help, but through the camera, if I pull away, you can see the tips without so much brightness. You can see that at all, but you know it's, oh, he's come almost all the way out. See, look at that honeycomb pattern. Now that's nice. This is the L519. Ancestris. Yeah, very nice, and they stay small. That's not going to be much bigger than that. So they're even smaller than the normal bushy nose, eh? So that's quite an interesting fish. And what else? Do you have any more updates to share with you? I don't know of any tonight. We haven't seen our friend Jeff. I hope he's doing well. Maybe he got caught up. Maybe I started late tonight as opposed to the normal time, and that's my fault probably. Hi, Carla. Coral Works, and more people have joined us. Thank you for all those thumbs up. We appreciate it. So we've been looking at them, the different fish, and showing what's going on here. I think the biggest thing tonight is getting the male put in with the female down here, but the pH needs to be brought down, and we're going to do that with this device here, and this works really good. So this is peat in a little layer of peat, 1 inch of peat between two filter pads, and then something to weigh it down. I got marbles in there and a couple of ceramics, and then this will go into the tank and start flushing into the water, the peat, and that will drop the pH quite a bit. Someone else says anything of interest? Any questions tonight? Let's see, check the thing. What makes those plecos high maintenance? Which plecos are you referring to? High maintenance? Did I say high maintenance? You're talking about the honeycomb. High maintenance. So far, I haven't found them to be high maintenance. I'm just very careful with them and making sure, you know, change the water, a little small portion of the water, not big water changes. I've just been doing just maybe 20%. I keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. That's why I do the water changes. I don't find them high maintenance, but I did say they were in high demand. Maybe you thought I said demanding. No, what I'm saying is that they're expensive. There's the female was high maintenance. No, if I did say that, I apologize. I must have been trying to say something that sounded like that. Anyways, I haven't found them particularly difficult to breed. They've just been breeding for me under normal tap water conditions. Actually, I think I may have started with RO/tap water to combo. So I just had sort of lower TDS. I don't know what the TDS is going for right now, but I know the pH can't be anything different than my tap water at this stage. It's probably close to 7. But the fish seem to be okay. And what I want to put, why I have them together is I have them together in their own tank, and that to me is probably the most important thing, because I don't want any issues. Some people would mix them and put something else in the tank. Those 4 white cloud minnows that you see in the tank, that's a trick that we often use to put with plecos to make them feel comfortable when there's a fish swimming above them, and those fish are just, you know, lollygagging and having a good time, and they don't seem to be frightened or scared. The fish down below tend to come out more because it's, yeah, dither fish for them. And the dither fish are, it's important to use fish that like to stay at the upper section of the tank, that aren't going to go down and bother the little babies that come out. And these white clouds are definitely those kinds of fish. I wouldn't, like for example, I wouldn't put barbs in the tank, because the barbs would start picking at the babies and eventually kill them as they come out of the caves, and they would be food. Viewed, they could hunt them down. So no barbs. Maybe, I mean, if there was a barb, maybe a gold barb, not gold barb, a cherry barb. That might be, you know, they're pretty peaceful, very peaceful. But honestly, no cichlids. I wouldn't put cichlids in there. I would put the penguin tetras. Penguin tetras they tend to stay, most tetras will stay in midwater and near the surface. And so they kind of work well. And the way their mouths are shaped and everything, they're kind of feeding midwater and up. They're not grazing off the bottom. And that's the job of the ancestris, right? Plecos are doing that. Bolivian rams. Well, they have them a lot at the stores around here. I have not had the Bolivians myself. I mostly work with German blues and the other Ramirez Ramirezi species. So, you know, we've got electric blues, German blues, black rams, gold. We've got all those. Plus, we've got some really nice looking crosses between a black and electric. So we have electric blacks, and those progeny are looking pretty sharp. It's kind of a nice fish to have in your tank. So we've sold them. We've sold a number of those batches, and they look nice. But the Bolivian ram is similar. It's not the same species. The Bolivians are a little more peaceful, as opposed to the regular. The other rams that we have are like not the German blues or the wild German blues. You know, that kind of look. Those fish actually can be very aggressive towards one another. But I understand the Bolivians are a little more peaceful. They're not as aggressive and attacking, and yet they're a little bigger, but they're just not as colorful. But they have a different shape, and they have more like a lyre tail. And there's a couple of things about the Bolivians. They could be more hardy. Yes. Since you brought that up, Coley, you brought this up. I'm gonna tell you some things as to why. It's very simple, but since we're breeders of rams, and that's even our logo on the aquarium.biz. Our business has the ram, black ram, as their logo. I'm going to tell you something about why your rams die so easy. Number one, the Bolivian ram has not been in captivity and bred generation after generation after generation as their counterparts have been. So they're actually good. They're more closer to wild stock. So that means that they don't have as much inbreeding to them, and as a result, they're a little more hardy in that their bodies can actually cope with issues that come up. On the other hand, the mass-produced ram comes from many countries, and they're imported in large numbers. And it turns out that I've seen importers bring in, and these importers are people I know, some friends, individuals who bring in and even sell to us. Sometimes we've even taken batches. We would get 200 rams, and we would try to keep these things alive. And it's possible that they would stay alive. Sometimes a batch will come in and they'll be beautiful, and you'll get, less than 1% die off. But we've also seen batches come in and when every fish will die. And that is before they even make it to market, even before they get to the... So why is that? So we've done some analyzing, and we've come to the conclusion that rams bred in large numbers in other countries, especially in Southeast Asia, and even some over in Sri Lanka, which is another big resource for getting these fish. They're in there, and whatever it is, by the time they fly across the world, and now they're in a completely different water parameters. And they've been inbred so much because by the time you get black rams, you've gone through so many generations of selective breeding that they're very weak fish. They're super weak. And there is a disease that I still don't know the name of. I still don't know what it is. There's a condition that they get where all of a sudden they'll just start turning dark, stop eating, stop looking like they're interested in life. They will often go up into the corner and they will just sort of go head up, facing towards the surface, but not necessarily at the surface. And they'll just stay there until they die. When you see that condition, they'll be dead within 48 hours. And we don't know what that is, but it does occur. It's what happened to the electric blue behind me, the male, and that's why I only have a female in there. But strangely enough, it's not highly contagious. If it were highly contagious, then that female in there would have no chance because she was the only other fish in there, and they did lay eggs together a couple times. But the male got the sickness, and he went dark, and he just kind of like breathed heavy and got listless. I don't know if that's a term. I'm borrowing that term from my years of experience breeding pigeons. I was into tippler breeding and flying, and do hold some records for tippler flying back in the day. And when a pigeon just sits there kind of fluffed up, we say it's listless. It just kind of means that they kind of lose interest in the world, and they're just kind of like puffed up, and they're not feeling good. It's like how we feel sometimes when we're not feeling good. And to be quite honest with you, I wasn't feeling good tonight. I was thinking so much of not having this live stream just because my stomach was kind of churning. And anyway, the pigeon, when it's listless, it means it just doesn't want to move. You can almost just reach over and pick it up. There's something wrong with it. It loses interest in life, as it were. And when I see that same condition in fish, I want to say that it's listless. Maybe I should look it up. Maybe someone who has ChatGPT or GDP can look that up and say, what does it actually mean to be listless? But in general, that kind of explains a lot of things. What we try really hard to do. Okay, this is overheating. This light, look at this light over here. It's kind of flashing. I just it was like not working. I put a brand new power, and it's overheating. The power, super hot. That light, all my lights, my aquanites are now like 5 years. No. Wow. They're probably going on 8 years old. There you go. Thank you, Roman. So listless means lack of energy, interest, or spirit. Yeah, that's a good explanation. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So they have lack of energy, lack of spirit, lack of interest in swimming around or looking for food, and they don't eat. You can throw food, live food could be passing right in front of their eyes, and they don't go for it. You know, they're sick. They don't feel well. So this is what I found, is that rams are one of those delicate fish. And because if you find somebody, if you go to a shop, you're going to get 99% of the time you're going to get imported fish. And imported fish, imported rams, no good. If you want to get some rams that you're going to have for a little while, now they only live like 3 or 4 years tops. They're not a long-standing fish. When they get to 3 months old, maybe 4 months, they start breeding, which tells you one thing right away. This fish isn't meant to live for a very long time. It's meant to spawn, produce lots of babies, and then die off. It's just part of the cycle. But any of the shops, and if you're fortunate enough to get them in or to see them when they first get them in, and the tank is full of rams, you might have a chance, because you could pick out maybe the ones that are strongest looking, the healthiest ones, the ones that survive the trip, and the ones that are listless or puny or damaged in some way. Don't get those. Yet, even still, you're getting imported fish. My advice, if you're really interested in having some nice rams, is to get them from a local breeder. Get them from somebody who has raised them in your waters, and get them from somebody who has raised them from fry and hasn't been treating them with tons of antibiotics and other medications, because that's what they do in these huge vats of hundreds and hundreds of growing fish. They treat them because they know that they can treat with a certain amount every so many days, and it will keep them alive long enough to sell. And that's really all they need to do, is keep them alive until they sell. And then once they're sold, they don't have to keep them alive anymore. Sad, but true. But if you can find somebody who is local breeder, and even if they're asking for some decent money, it would be much more worth it. Much more practical and a better deal for you in the end. That's all I can advise. If you really want to try rams again, don't get them from the source that you've always been getting them. Yeah. Big owls. Where do you live? If you're in the GTA area, you can get them from our stock. We raise them, and you can get them through aquarium.biz, and you can tell us exactly what you want. And, I can do that for you. Tell me what you're interested in. If it's German blues, right now, I have a few German blues. They're in my, I'll show you how big they are. They're not big enough really to sell yet, but in this community, whoops, what happened? There we go. In this community tank, I had a batch of about 9 or 10. And so rather than push them on, I just put them in my community tank. I wanted to see how well they do. So as you can see, there's one that went in the back. There's one right here. They're small. No color yet. No color yet. If you go to aquarium.biz and you look at the home page, you'll see this aquarium. It's this one we're looking at right now, with hundreds of German blue rams growing out and coloring up. And it's an interesting video. It shows a spawn, and they're going back and forth. Beautiful fish, and they were very hardy. At the time, it was a couple years ago, and I had them in this tank, and they did very, very well. These little guys, these are going to do well, but they're also in a community tank where, if one of them falls back behind like a runt, guess what? It falls back behind, and guess what? It might not survive. But then again, we're talking about survival of the hardiest. So when I sell you fish, and I'm giving you a pair, I'm giving you the best, because believe me, if somebody's interested, here's one here. It's got a little bit of color coming up, but I'll just leave them in this tank until they're at the point where they're going to start to looking like they're going to breed. And then I can either sell them or put them in a tank for breeding, you know. And this tank here here's another thing, another reason. This tank has no heater. So it's just the room temperature. Right now, though, the room is at 27, so 80 degrees the room is. The tank is probably a few degrees cooler. It's just kind of an ideal tank, but there's no heater in this tank. What often happens is people, if you keep them at 85 degrees, which might be nice for breeding, and they do well in breeding, but their lives become shorter. That's what I find. Higher temperature, higher metabolism. Look at those little guys go. They're just swimming around, having a good time. What if you were to get like, what if you were to get like some young ones like this? I don't know what size tank you have, but if you get some young ones, like maybe 4 of them of this size, and let them grow in a little bit in your tank, they're going to be not as nice when you first get them, but guess what? They're not going to be like, have you ever seen large rams at your local store? Like jumbo rams? If you see those, huh, where do people get jumbo rams? Well, those are the fish that are expended. They've been breeding, and then it's time for the farms to move them on. And they've been growing, and no, those fish don't have a lot of life expectancy left in them. So that's why I would never buy those jumbo rams. But when you get something small like this, young, you know, I know that these are, when these hatched, I know when they're going to be old enough to breed. I know when they're going to start getting color. But that's just 6 of them. We have several tanks of hundreds to choose from. And out of the hundreds, when somebody buys from us directly, of course we're going to pick out the nicest 2. You know, why would we pick out something inferior? So what we do is the nicest ones we keep for ourselves and for our personal customers. And then, of course, the 200 fish that are left, yeah, they can be wholesaled, and off they go to a store. So we haven't sold a lot of, it depends on which Big L's you're going to, but some of them we do sell. Our business sells to Big L's Mississauga, Big L's Brampton, Big L's. We have sold fish to Big L's Scarborough, but it just depends on what kind. Are you in Scarborough? Okay, we haven't sold to them in the last year, but we have sold them in the past. It's just a little ways for us to go since we're located in Peel. Peel region. So something to think about. Let's see. I think I hopefully answered your question about rams and why they die. I also noticed that they are easily susceptible to disease. So if you have them in your tank, they're the canaries. So they'll be the first to catch something and to pass off. Now, for example, the rosy barbs, on the other hand, and the Odessa barbs, those are hardy fish. And they're the last to go down. When the disease spreads and starts taking over, they're the last to go down. There's just no question about it. So some species are just more susceptible, and they'll have more problems. But the ram is a beautiful fish, and striking, and very interesting to watch. They've got a lot of personality too. So that's why I like them. But I'm watching this pair here, this black pair. And like I told you, so you can see them right here. This tank number 3. This one, actually it's tank 4, isn't it? Tank 4. This is the 3rd black pair I had. We got 2. Oh, and here's some babies. Let me show you the baby rams. These are black. They came out to the glass now. They weren't out front a minute ago. You see how big they are. There's only 7 in here. Not very big, but they'll eat brine shrimp now. So once they're on brine shrimp at this age, it's like no problem. I don't think we're going to have a problem. They'll do fine. I may just take them out though before the pair wants to go back on eggs, because I don't want any issues. So these can be taken out. I might put them in a breeder box. Another little secret, it's what we found. This is, before I go on to the secret, I'll just want to mention, this is the pair that I'm nervous about. I don't like the way he's acting. He's a little listless. And so a day ago, they were like trying to spawn and getting all excited. And that female was, looking to spawn. And now I don't know. Alexa, stop. Oh, brother. Okay. Sorry about that. But a beautiful pair. They're, but now I just want to make sure that they're healthy and they don't have issues. This is the reason I have these. FYI, we have our own black pairs breeding, and we have them a couple generations now, and at the other place. But these came from a different source, and that's why we have them, just to get black rams from a different source. So these are not the same as the other ones we have, but that's not a surprise. So we didn't raise these fish, and because we didn't raise them, they have the propensity to die. Whereas these fish, these little 7 here, once we raise these have the propensity of lasting much longer and being good breeders. Most definitely. Parents are back there somewhere. I guess they're very camera shy. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Well, Coley, I hope that was answer to maybe some of your questions. And there is a shop in Scarborough that buys from us all the time, and it's not Big Al's, but you know what? They come and buy whole tanks of fish at a time. But that particular shop is not buying rams from us. They don't even sell rams. They sell to they cater to more of the Chinese folks. And so they have like fancy goldfish, arowana, parrotfish, those. If you ever go into an aquarium shop and you see that kind of thing, you know, and the owners are Chinese, and you know that they're catering to that particular field, because that's what they like, and that's what they're used to, because they mean like good luck, to have goldfish in your house, or a lot of the Asian population believe that having an arowana in your house brings a lot of good luck. So that's why they go after them. But yeah, they come and buy angelfish from us, and sometimes have taken whole tanks. But angelfish is one of our bread and butter. So I have eggs over there right now hatching, because I took them from the parents, but we usually leave them with the parents. This time I took them because the parents ate the eggs the first time. It was their first time. They're a young pair. And this time I wanted to grab some eggs before they ate them, or it was an issue. Sometimes after 2 or 3 times, they get the hang of it and they don't eat their eggs. Sometimes we have a one marble pair that produces more angelfish than all other pairs, and yet they always eat their eggs. So we have to pull the eggs every single time. It's just they don't know it. They just think it's caviar, but maybe it is caviar. Oh, well, you know what I mean. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Roman. Thank you for that. Yeah, I would advise getting set up, get your tank set up. You can get your tank prepared for the rams before you get your rams. That would help also. And have it all seasoned. You can put other fish in there, like I do with the minnows. You know, I put white cloud minnows in there, cheap fish that usually is trouble free, and you know it's providing dithering capabilities. But hold the secret. Don't want to forget. So when we're raising apistogrammas, or we're trying to get them to when we're growing them, and even rams, what we do, and you know, I hate giving out all of our secrets, but that's why you're here at FishEZ, and that's why you're special. You stayed this long over an hour just to get this one. But when you're raising a lot of rams, you know, we find that they get very aggressive, the black rams especially. So for that reason, we use dither fish, and it really cuts down on the aggression. So how do you, if you have 100 black rams, how do you raise them? It's simple. You put 200 angelfish with 100 black rams. That's 300 fish growing up in a large tank, and that will really reduce the amount of aggression. And they get lost in the shuffle. They stop killing each other. At a certain point, they will start killing each other because they're just, you know, the males trying to assert themselves. So it turns out that if there's that many other, and angelfish don't, you know, at their size, the angelfish are not coming into maturity. Definitely not coming into maturity, as are the black rams. 3 months old, the black rams, they would start, you know, males want to have dominance and they want to own the whole tank. And, you know, when you have 50 black ram males in a tank and they all want to be the macho tank boss, well, what can you do? You put so many fish in there, and they will just kind of like stop chasing each other, and then they realize they got to chase the food. So when the food coming in and you're feeding all these fish, you put a ton of food in there, and all of a sudden it's feed time. Everybody's, instead of killing one another, they're just chowing down. So they all get something that way. Anyway, that's a little secret about black rams. They're very aggressive. If you try raising them with dither fish, you're better off. It works out much better. We've had much more success with that. So thank you so much. That was your tip for the day, and we're going to take it easy for the rest of the evening. I'm going to sign off so that I can have a chance to take a breather. I do need to feed the fish here, and I am going to extract those panduros either tonight or tomorrow. And it's kind of interesting. I hate going on to even something more, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to extract a bunch of fish from a tank like this. Okay? I don't know if you can see. They're used to getting food, and so when I take the lid off and put the net in the water, look what they do. They come up to the top. Look at this. See that? I put the net in there. The only fish in this tank who has ever seen a net are the parents, and they kind of go back to the back and hide. These guys have never seen a net, so very slowly I just put the net in, and very slowly I just pull them out one by one. And I use this special net. I have a special net I use, and you'll see why it's special. It's right here. It's special because it's short. So I cut off the end, and it's just like a handle. It makes it easy to work in tight spaces, and I just go like this. Scoop. Oh. And I'll start counting them as I pull them out. I will get 90%, maybe 95%, using that method of the gentle scoop on the first go. And of course, after that, they kind of know what a net is, and they learn real quick, and then they learn from the net, of course, when next time we try to move them to a bigger tank. But for me, at this age, when they were born in this tank and they've grown to this size, it's kind of cute because, you know, they just don't know better. They're peaceful, tranquil, and they're saying, oh, what's this? It's kind of new. What's interesting? Let me go check it out. They have no idea it's coming for them. So it's really not that hard the first time. So, but don't move quickly. Anything that's quick and moves quickly in the water will spook them, and they'll startle, and they'll head off. They'll quick flight, and they're gone. Then you have a challenge getting them out. But first thing I do, even with all those plants in there, I'm just scooping them out between the plants, and I'm just counting them out. And then after I take off the top ones, the next ones from below will start to come up thinking they're getting fed. And they're not getting fed. They're getting eaten by the net. And off they go to the grow out house. And we've got quite a few tanks over there. So thank you for those who are members. Stay tuned. I think I will do a live stream, maybe a live video or something at the fish house to show you the apistogrammas that we got over there growing out. And you'll get to see how big they are and everything. Those are nice. I know you're set on rams, by the way, Coley. Think also about the idea of getting a pair of pistogrammas. You might enjoy that for your tank. There's some really beautiful ones that we've got. Panduros are super nice. These trifasciata are good, and I do recommend those. Get a young pair of those and let them grow up in your tank, and you might have some really nice results. Depends if you got if your idea is you just want to breed rams, then that's another story. It's different, but it's a little different style. You can see behind me, breeding rams is like a tank, a saucer, a hide. That's all you need, and they'll go to it. But with the pistos, it's more like substrate, plants, decaying matter, little peat moss trick to lower the pH, and that's it. Then you're going to have mom and dad raising fry. It's fun to watch. Thank you all for joining, and always thank you for being a member of this channel or a subscriber. We are about to hit 3,000 subscribers, and I would really very much like it or appreciate it if y'all could just get the word out, send a link, mention the channel's name, get it out there. That's the best way to get people who might be curious about certain things to come. And I don't want to do a lot of self-promotion. I'd rather you do the promotion because you're the one that enjoyed this program, or maybe not. Maybe you didn't enjoy it. Okay, well, in that case, you can walk away. But if you did enjoy it and you do share it with a group of people saying, hey, this was very enjoyable, I learned some things, I always learn something from FishEZ, and please subscribe and join us for our live streams. That will make a big difference, and that's how people really, new people will find out about us. That's the best way. So thank you very much, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you so much. And after these activities like we had, like the expo and the auction and this coming auction Sunday in Durham, there's just so many things that have been happening week after week. Then we can maybe decompress and have some more interesting live streams and discussions on things going on, some videos perhaps. And that would be, I think, an awesome thing. So thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody joining. And I will sign off now. Thank you, Roman, especially being a club member. And it was nice being with you at the auction last week. And it would be also fun to meet you. If you do see me at, for example, Koriyama this Sunday, please feel free to approach me and introduce yourself. For me, I don't get to see faces. You're seeing my face, but I don't see your face. So I don't know the names and the faces as you do. So I would appreciate very much you just tell me who you are. Oh yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm a subscriber and this is my handle. And that way we can get to know each other and have a good chat. So take care, and as always, enjoy your fish, but most of all, keep it real.